Okay. You mean. All right. So thank you again for joining. A lot of people that are here actually know me. Very few don't know me. I think this is the first time I might be saying Nwaka. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well, but John. And thank you for joining. Um, I hope to see you in other session. So my name is Lizzie Daunsi, and I'm a product UI UX designer and a design manager. I manage design teams as a whole. And I have with me Emilson. I don't know how to pronounce his surname, so I'll just stick to his name. Emilson. Emilson is an expert in digital brand design. Yes, I think he does. Do you do UI UX, Emilson? No. I think you just brand design.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So he's an expert with brand design, and most importantly, he's an expert on Fiverr. I know a lot of people will be glad to hear that because he's an expert on Fiverr level two. I think he has over 160 clients and has completed over 160 something successful deliveries. Should we call it deliveries or projects? Yeah, and for somebody to be a level two on Fiverr, it means the person is really doing well. So I'm sure that we are going to be hearing from an expert. So I want you to pay attention. So I want you to pay attention to him as I bring him up on stage. There's going to be Q&A. It's going to be an interactive session. So I want you guys to respond and interact. Can you guys still hear me? I feel like I'm frozen. Can you still hear me? Hello? Can you still hear me? Hello? Oh no. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear
Oh,
you.
okay.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
we
good.
can.
I see
Yes.
myself
Yes,
frozen here. All right.
We can all
yes,
hear you.
we can hear you. Hello, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I think we are good. There's just a little bit of lag. So, Emerson, I'll be bringing you up right now. So please help me use that emoji to cheer him up as we listen to how to perfectly niche as designers. Every one of us here are designers, okay? How to perfectly niche because it's something that we really need. Even myself, yeah, it's something that we really need because one of the key to your success as a designer is knowing how to niche perfectly to your actual audience and not trying to spread your wings all around because sometimes spreading your wings all around might be the problem why you have not moved an inch from where you are. But if you niche correctly to the actual audience, then you see significant progress in your career. So Elmison, the floor is yours. Thank you for doing this with us.
Okay, thank you so much, Lizzie. So she has already introduced me, so I don't have to introduce myself anymore. But the only thing that she missed was that can you am I audible, please?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so just to be clear, Lizzie, don't be offended, please. The only thing that she missed was that she said I've completed over 160. I think that's too small. So I've completed
Really?
over 570 something jobs, right? So the 160 was the total number that I did for just 2024. I think that's the record that you have.
Oh, wow. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I can see people clapping. I wanted to say, please clap now. It's in this webinar, we should be clapping.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Let me just finish our time with my plenty talk. Okay, so we're going to go straight ahead. I prepared the slide, but I'm going to apologize before I displayed the slide already. But I just remember that I did not apologize. So I'm going to apologize before I display the slide. This slide is not very fine. It's just my my host. She insisted I must prepare a slide. If not, she will not pay me my balance. So that, that was a joke. All right, so I'll be sharing my screen right away. Okay, if you can see my screen, just give an emoji to help me know you can see my screen. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so the topic before us is choosing your perfect niche as a designer. And then I just added an extra, like discover your unique space in the design world. So I believe majority or everybody here is actually a designer, and so am I. So it will help us rub minds very well. So like she said, I'm quite successful. In fact, I'm still growing anyways. And probably there could be someone here who is more successful than I am. I'll be open to learn, but just for the records, I'm quite successful in Fiverr. I have a lot of clients that I've worked with, new, repeated, and a couple number of jobs. And whatever I'm going to be sharing today, some of them I learned subconsciously, some of them I intentionally learned, but I've been able to like, okay, fine, harness, go through my story and pick out these things to say, yes, these are the key things that I did that helped me. So I'm going to be sharing them with us. Alongside, I'll just share a bit of my story as I go, and then we'll just keep going with the slide. And there'll be room for questions as well. So when the time comes for questions, all the questions that you have, if I cannot answer them, that's why we have a host to help us answer them. Anyway, so let's begin, right? So I have a definition here for what niching is, and I'll just read. Niching is focusing on a specific area where you excel, solving unique problems for a targeted audience, and standing out with tailored solutions. So prior to what you may have known before, niching is just simple. Forget this grammar that I wrote here. It's just you deciding to choose a particular area in your skill within your skill set, and then identifying the right audience that skill set can help. That's just what it is. Choosing the particular area within your skill set, identifying that audience that it can help. So before we start talking about a lot, let us see the next slides. I have the two kinds of mindset. So the reason why I have this here is because I know I've struggled with it before. I know a lot of us, in fact, everybody in life should struggle with niching, because I believe that niching is on different levels. I mean, you can be, for example, you can just be a designer generally. Then you might not say, okay, fine, let me do UI UX. Saying let me do UI UX does not mean you have completely niched. Yes, you have just niched, but you have not completely niched, because there are segments in UI UX that you can still niche down to. And the more you gain the confidence to start narrowing down, that's when you can say, okay, fine, I'm actually carving out a niche for myself, and it doesn't just start from the beginning like that. Okay, so we have here the two kinds of mindset. What are they? Let's see the next slide. So we have a generalist mindset and then a specialist mindset. For those of us that were very good with mathematics in school, we can tell. So are we still here? Are we together?
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you. Because at any point, if you can't hear me, just let me know, because network can be funny sometimes. Okay, so we have here the generalist mindset and the specialist mindset. So, from your own perspective of what a generalist is, anybody can just unmute. You can unmute yourself and speak. I just need maybe answers from you guys. What do you think being a generalist means? Having a generalist mindset means, and then having a specialist mindset. What do you think it means? So, if you want to say something, just indicate. Then I'll call your name so it can be organized. So if nobody's saying anything, I'll just call any name at random. I can see 4 new persons have joined. Okay. Uh, Mr. Sunday David, can you just help us? Just share your thoughts on what you feel the generalist mindset talks about. At least you can even see the diagram that we have there. So from it, you could just have a clue and then just tell us something about what it is. Don't talk too much. Just say, you can say a word or two. That's fine. Mr. Sunday, are you okay?
Okay, hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I'm
I
with
hope
you.
everyone can hear me. Okay. To me, actually, I'm not sure, but I think a generalist is maybe someone who has maybe a general opinion, like something that everybody believes in. So that's, but a specialist. I don't know what to say about a specialist, but
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Does anyone else have
okay.
something else to say? Okay, Oluwatosin, please. Thank you so much. Go
Good
ahead.
evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I think you asked if what a generalist is, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, I just joined. That's why I'm asking for a
Yes,
question.
yes, yes. That's fine. Thank you
Okay,
so
I
much.
think a generalist is in this context a product designer that does like basically everything involved in product design that is not yet specialized or not planning to specialize, so can not have an idea of almost everything. So just generalizes is available to work on any kind of project in any way. So I think that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, any opinion on what a specialist is?
A specialist should be someone that has specialized in maybe an area of product design, maybe as a UX designer or UI designer, or maybe content writer. That's choosing a path and then standing by that to work with. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's now move to slide two. Let's now move to slide two. Slide two will help us understand what's the difference between generalists and then before I conclude. So for slide two, we'll be using this case study to analyze what a generalist and what a specialist should be like. So I have case one here. It says Mr. Lemon needs a math teacher for his child who is very poor in mathematics but very good in other subjects. Who now it's a question, who would you recommend she hires? Teacher A or teacher B? So teacher one is teacher A, teacher two is teacher B. So teacher one studies math 5 hours daily. He has a PhD in mathematics, and then he has success stories of raising math engineers. While teacher two studies math, English, and physics 5 hours daily. He has a PhD in English. In English, he has obtained A in mathematics and physics at O level. That's his work result. He has A in math. He has A in physics. But he has a PhD in English, and he has success stories of raising a few math teachers compared to teacher A. That's when you compare the math teachers that he has taught and they are successful with teacher A. Teacher A has more. Then he also has a success stories of raising a few English teachers as well as physics teachers. So the question now is, you are anybody here now is Mr. Lemon. So who would you recommend that Mr. Lemon hires? Again, if you want to say anything, you can just raise your hand. This is a very simple question, so anyone can say anything. Okay, Wamaka John, go ahead. Wamaka John, go ahead, please. Can you still hear me, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, okay. Ayo, please go ahead while Wamaka is trying to
Teacher A.
teacher A. Okay, Ayo has chosen teacher A. Wamaka, please go ahead.
Teacher one.
Okay, any other person choosing? Sunday, please go ahead.
I believe teacher one. Teacher one will be better.
Okay, fine. So for those of us that have chosen, all of us that have chosen teacher one, why? Just be brief. Just be very brief. Wamaka, why did you choose teacher one? Okay, Ayo, please, why did you choose teacher one so we can save time?
Because teacher one's focus is mathematics and he has more successful students than teacher two in terms of maths.
Okay, our host, do you want to say something, please?
I think I'll go with
Lizzie, do
Igbo.
you want to say something?
No, am I raising my hand?
Okay, Sunday, please go ahead.
Okay.
No, I also okay. The reason why I choose Sichawan is that because Sichawan specialized in maths. So hello.
Yes, I heard you Sunday. You said you go with
Yeah,
teacher
I
one.
said yes. That is because I believe Sichawan is especially in that particular subject, and because of his record, so I will still go for Sichawan. And Lodisha too, on the other hand, as so being able to handle many other subjects might not be that good in the mass. So that's why I will go for Sichawan.
Okay, Lizzie, please, before I proceed. Lizzie, I thought you were trying to say something.
Oh no.
Okay, I think our host may be having a bit of network glitch. I'll just proceed. When she's able to connect, she'll speak. Okay, so I'll also be choosing teacher one. And the same reason every other person chose teacher one, that's why I'll choose teacher one. And that's the very reason why we are all here today. So I'm glad that we're all on the same we're all on I don't know for the person that have not spoken, I'll assume that we're all on the same page, right? Because okay, so I'll assume that we are all on the same page because when you say you want to niche, then you have to be that sort of person that has a specialist kind of mindset and not a generalist. And I'm not trying to say that one is better than than the other. However, as a person, I would prefer to always be a specialist than a generalist because when you are a generalist, people just don't get to know you for something, right? And then there's this cognitive bias that is called the halo effect. Yes, or you can say the halo bias or the halo effect. It just simply says that when people know you as a professional, like when you meet somebody for the first time and you're able to show them that you excel at something, they just have this bias that if this person is very good at this thing, that means this person will be very good at other things too. For example, when somebody meets a very, very fine girl, there's this assumption. Sorry, I'm using that example, but that's the closest thing that's coming to my mind that I believe most of us can relate with. There's this assumption that just comes to your mind that this girl is going to be brilliant, this girl is going to be smart, even when she has not spoken. But most of the time, they turn you off. But what I'm particular about is that first impression that you get when you just see her that she's fine. So that's what the halo effect is, and it works both ways. So if you happen to be a generalist, of course, when you are a generalist, just like teacher B, you definitely have a few success stories of everything when compared. You can have like 1,000 success stories, but when you now compare to somebody that is a specialist in that your field, of course, that person is going to be more professional than you because they give more time, 5 hours daily compared to if when you analyze math, English, and physics, 5 hours daily. Probably math can take 2 hours. The other ones like that, 1 hour plus and all that. But this one that is using the entire 5 hours to study math, of course, they're going to be more productive in mathematics, right? I don't know if we are following me. Please give me an emoji if we're together.
Yes.
Yes, so now let's move. I have another case study here, but we'll just move we'll just move forward, right? Because of time. But I'm happy we're all. So let's now move over to what we have next year. Okay, what we had here was Mr. Lemon is a medical expert. Who should he hire? Of course, you don't want to hire an optician for your teeth. So everybody needs an expert. So why finding your niche matters? I'll just run through this so that we can go to the real business of the day, how we can actually find our niche. So it gives you clarity, like it helps you define what you do and who you do it for, making your offerings more precise and appealing. So when you are able to carve out a niche for yourself, let's say, okay, fine. Like for example, on Fiverr, I've carved out a niche for myself, and that's I'm a Christian t-shirt designer. So it's very clear. Everybody that comes to my platform, of course, they're all Christians, but there are lots of Christians that are looking to work with me. So when they come, it's very clear who I am and who I want to serve. So I don't even have to do a lot of convincing, a lot of marketing. My bio just speaks for me.
So they just step in and they're like, oh wow, this guy is a Christian, this is what he stands for. Okay, let's talk. So please just if you can mute your microphone so we don't have interference. And then there's efficient marketing, of course, reduced competition, expertise. People will just like the halo effect we're talking about just now. People just perceive you as. I've had a couple of clients, that halo effect has worked for me a lot because I've had a couple of clients that have asked me, hey, okay, can you also do this? And I end up nailing that gig as well. But I positioned myself as a specialist in a particular field, attending to a particular category of audience, right? But then I still end up, because of the halo effect, I still get to attract other deals from that client because they feel like, if this person can do this so well, why should I want to take this other gig elsewhere? Let me just rest it on them. So it still works that way too. So steps to niching. The first step we have here is passion meets profit. Identify what excites you the most. So very quickly, as well, I believe we should have our writing materials with us. So just quickly write down 3 things you love designing. We want to make this very practical. So by the time this training is ending, even if we don't finish, you have something to work with, you have something to run with instantly. You don't have to wait to start watching the video over again. Of course you must, but then you have something to work with. So write down 3 things you love designing. Why isn't designing? Because everyone here, it's a niche training for designers. So write down 3 things that you love designing, 3 things that you're passionate about. We can see this Venn diagram here. So there's passion, there's profit. What intersects passion and profit is your niche, right? So let's quickly move to the next slide. Step 2. So please write it down while we're going to just quickly write it down. If you don't know what you're passionate about yet, of course, you can just take time to think about it and then put it down. Then what makes you stand out? Identify your unique skill sets in what you are passionate about. So after you have written down what you are passionate about, you now have to look at it again and again, and then for all of these things that you're passionate about, which one are you already very good at? Because you can't say that you want to niche on something that you don't know how to do. I was talking with a friend recently, and then she was saying, okay, I want to go into social media. I know how to be a very good makeup artist, right? So she just stumbled into video editing. And she's not saying, okay, if she wants to go into social media, she wants to start creating a lot of content. And I'm like, okay, it's good that you're trying to carve out a niche for yourself like this. But you cannot just dive into the market because you feel like, okay, this is something that is sweet. I want to dive in. I'm passionate about it. There's something else that you're already good at. That if you position yourself properly, you can sell better. You're already skilled at it. The next thing is to find the right audience. What problem? Okay, I'm trying to quote the next steps now. Let's just take it slowly. So you don't want to dive into the market without identifying what you are really skilled at and then what makes you unique at it. Because if you call yourself, for example, if you go on Fiverr, you see lots of t-shirt designers. And then if you go again, you see 1,000 lots of Christian t-shirt designers, right? But what I did was to say so you see niche now, I niche down from graphic design, I niched it down to t-shirt design. And then I now niched it down to Christian t-shirt design. I also niched it down again to minimalist Christian t-shirt design. And that was how I started. So niching is on different levels. Basically, I don't have this on the slide, that's why I'm saying it now. So you could just quickly write it down. Basically, there's audience niching and then there's skill niching. So the skill you are niching to, there has to be an audience that you are targeting for that skill. And there has to be a particular problem that skill set is going to solve. Please, if you are following, just because I'm not getting feedback, so I don't know if you are following or not. So just let me know you are following. Right. Thank you. So let's move to the next slide. It says think solution. What problems can your design solve? And then who is going to benefit from this solution? So this is where I was trying to explain that your skill set that you have eventually identified that you're very good at, what problem can it solve? So try not to be super generic to say, or maybe you just go online and then you stumble on a couple of things that design can do, and then you can say, okay, fine, design can help you marketing, design can. You have to be able to build a story. Okay, because my niche is kind of religious, you have to pardon me. So if I sound religious to you, I'm sorry. But then the way I think about my designs, my t-shirt designs is that I'm not just building designs that are going to sell and then people are going to wear. I'm trying to say how I position myself now, and then these clients get to meet me. I come from this angle that okay, and I'm not just faking it. It's very real to me. So I'm coming from this angle that these designs that I'm making, people are going to be coming in contact with them, and when they do, these designs have to say something to them. These designs have to minister life to them, right? So my clients, they have the same problem. They don't want to they don't want to work with just any secular artist that doesn't understand the spiritual depth to what they are creating. They want somebody that okay, if they find a secular, if that's all they have, they will do with it. But somewhere in their heart, they may not express it online. They may not go and type that okay, I wish I could get and all that. You just see through maybe when you use search engines, you see where people search for Christian t-shirt designs. So that's how you know what problems people are looking for. So if you go on Fiverr, okay, if you go on Fiverr right now and you don't already have a working account, you'll not be able to access the search platform. But there are search platforms that you can actually use, like answerthepublic.com. I think there's I don't know the right pronunciation, but it is AHREF. I don't know if I should say RF or AHREF, whatever they call it. But there are those ones that can help you see the specific questions that these clients are asking in relation to your skill. So after you have identified your unique skill set, then you're now trying to look for the problems that this skill set can solve. So you are interfacing with, you are going to see the exact questions that these clients they're asking. What are they really looking for? So you don't just cook it up on your own to say, okay, I think designs can solve, try to solve real problems that people are facing. Don't just, if you are a UI UX designer and then you do research, you'll be able to, and I know Lizzie can very well relate to what I'm saying, right? So it's still the same thing that applies here too. You want to carve out a niche for yourself, then you have to be staying in a niche that is very, very lucrative. If you understand step 3, just give me an emoji so we can proceed. All right, thank you. So for step 4, says test your niche. So step 4 and then step 3, they are closely related. So when you are doing step 3, you are almost conquering step 4. But the only difference is that step 4 is more intense. Yes, because this is where after you have understood that okay, fine, there's a market for this niche that I'm carving out for myself. Because if there's no market, you have to start again. You cannot just rest on that particular skill set and say this is all I have. And because when you carve out a niche for yourself and there's no market for you, then it's as good as you don't have anything. So you have to now you have to go back again, look at your passion, bring it down to your skill set again, what makes it unique again, and then and if you have successfully searched for questions, you'll be able to refine that niche to know how well you can position yourself. So if you're doing it really well, you may not need to repeat steps 1, 2, and 3. Steps 1 and 2 again. If you're really doing step 3 very well, you'll be able to see that, oh yes, this thing, okay, what I was thinking in my head is not exactly how it is here. These are the real problems that the unexpressed problems that these clients are facing. So here I said do SEO and keyword research. There are platforms like Chat. Of course, ChatGPT is very, very, very reliable. Even if you're not using a paid version of ChatGPT, it can still help you do a whole lot of research. Some of them may be true, some of them may not be true, but I assure you, most of it will help you correct some wrong impressions that you have of what client thinks. Trust me. Then if you have a paid version, you may not even need to use Google Trends or Answer the Public or even Fiverr. Because when you have a paid version, ChatGPT can help you search through websites and pull out those answers. So the search that you have to start doing on Google one by one, ChatGPT can do all of it for you, and it can keep expanding and expanding and expanding when you have a paid version of ChatGPT. and it's worth it. Yes, it's really, really worth it. So after you have done all of that and you are sure that okay, fine, this niche I've carved out for myself is going to be lucrative, then you have to create sample work that will target this your niche audience. So I'm talking generally now, but before this training ends, I will just talk about Fiverr specifically because I know most persons will be very interested in that as well. But you still need this general knowledge. So because Fiverr is not the only place where you can even myself, I'm also trying to get into other platforms as well to get more clients. And it's this general knowledge that will help. It's not just knowing how to do it on Fiverr specifically. So you have to create sample work that targets your niche audience, and then this is where platforms like LinkedIn come into play. Of course, when you get on Fiverr, if you're on Fiverr as well, you know you need to have big display. So whatever niche you have carved out for yourself, you now have to create sample work that speak to that. When you are trying to niche, you have to be very, very confident. In Christianity, we call it faith. You just have to sharp believe that this thing you are doing is going to work because that's why we have to start from a generalist mindset and a specialist mindset. If you believe that you are going to hire a, a math specialist, then you also have to believe that whatever niche kind of designer that you have, somebody is looking for you and that person is going to hire you. That it has to be strong in your heart, even though you just fall, you shall fall by the wayside and you feel like this thing is not working. It's working, it's just you that is not being very, very confident about it. That you want to go all in and you want to do it. Then of course you have to share your designs on social media to gather feedback as you should. So step 5. Niching means you may have to say no to some opportunities that don't align with your focus. If you check very well, I use may, right? So we know the situation of Nigeria right now. I know most of us freelancers, we need money. So anything that comes, we just like to take it. When you now decide to niche, then simply means that you can't be taking so much jobs that are just general. The reason why you can't do that is take note that you are trying to be like teacher 1 that wants to get a PhD in mathematics. You have 5 hours just like teacher 2 does. So if you spend a lot of time doing general designs and you don't spend time training yourself in whatever you say you want to niche in, you don't spend time sourcing for clients and jobs in that area, you'll be surprised that at the end of the day you are still a generalist, you're not a specialist. So you would have achieved nothing when it comes to niching. So you have to, that's why I'll keep saying confidence to the end of this training. You have to be confident enough to say no to some opportunity so you can have that time to be able to niche, because you know that at the long run it's going to pay you more. Just like you said it yourself that you want to hire a math specialist for your child, you don't want to hire a generalist. So if all of us here agreed, I think we're about 10 or so in this training. But if we want to use percentage, we'll say 100% of us have agreed that we'll hire a math specialist. It simply means that they taught us scaling in I don't know if you did what's it called? Forgive me. I've left school a long time, so I'm only thinking design right now. But if you did technical drawing, I mean, they taught us scaling. You can draw something very small, but when you do a proper scaling, an architect can take it and then they can scale it, and that building, once it's built, it's a very big structure. Or you drew it and it's small, or because of scaling. So if we do scaling for these 10 people here, that's 100%. So it simply means if we have 1,000 people here, we may likely get 100% as well. So it simply means that there is a market for you when you need. Just overcome. Okay, let me not move ahead of myself. Then saying no helps you focus on becoming an expert in your chosen niche, which attracts better clients. That's what I just explained. Let's move to the next slide. Evolving your niche. Your niche isn't set in stone. Okay, so I'll just use myself as a case study for this. So I started out on Fiverr as a, take note, I said that niching is on different levels. You have your skill niching and then industry niching. So I started out as a minimalist Christian t-shirt designer. So right now, I moved it up a bit, and I said, okay, fine. Now I have a lot of clients, a lot of people trust me. So I expanded a little bit. I'm like, okay, I've added um a streetwear. I don't know if we are familiar with, because majority of Nigerians, we don't do streetwear kind of designs and all that. But over there, they do it a lot, and it's what's trending over there. So I expanded to, okay, Christian streetwear t-shirt designer, urban streetwear t-shirt designer. And I also had a couple of clients that were asking me, okay, fine, can you design our sermon bomber for us? Take note that all of them, they're still within my industry niche, right? So that's why I say your niche isn't set in stone. So after you have grown to a particular point within your industry, you can still decide to say, okay, fine, this is still me focusing. This is still me staying within that industry. But you can't at the beginning, I wouldn't advise you to do that, because you won't get better at a particular thing. But as you progress, and then you're having repeat clients, people now trust you. You can just within that industry start expanding, and this is where people get to start setting up agencies that can handle a couple of things. But they started from somewhere. You can't just start and then you say, okay, fine, I want to be doing everything. I want to be doing everything. But when you have an agency, inside that agency, you now have several specialists that are handling several fields. So that's a whole different ball game entirely. But you are still a specialist at something, while there are other specialists handling a couple of other things. So start small and focus, but allow yourself to adapt based on new skills and market trends. So now let's experiment. We already said you should write down 3 passions, what type of design excites you. Then the next thing to do now is to identify one problem you can solve. Who needs this type of design, and then why? You may not be able to submit this right now, but it's something that you have to take home and work on. Then, of course, you have to test your idea, create one portfolio piece, or offer a sample service in your niche to be able to gauge interest. So before I talk about overcoming this, we have talked about it a little bit, but we'll still look at it one more time before we close. Let's have questions, please. Is that okay, Lizzie?
Yes, please. And the assignment, anybody that wants to submit can feel free. We have a community, a group chat. So if you feel like you want to submit and get feedback, you can always do that at your own will. Okay.
Okay, yes, thank you. So, questions, please. Yeah. If you don't have any question, it means 2 things. It either means that it could mean that ah, this guy be saying rubbish things, or it could mean that everything I said we understood it, and I like to take option B this time.
So guys,
All right, I can see Odu Sonia. All right, so let's have your question, please. Go ahead.
Good evening. My question is based on what I do for a living, right? What I do is quite broad, and I see how you explain that picking your niche is you have to like decide on, okay, this is what I want to do. What if, how can you help someone like me? Let me say what I do for a living. I'm a programmer. I think I have understood the niche thing down to me deciding if I want to do front end or back end. I do front end. Now there are varieties of things that I can work on. There's the fintech, there's different what will I say? There are different branches, let me use the word branches to branch out to. To me now, currently I see myself jumping from one tech to another, from fintech to health tech to edutech. How do one decide, or how do one really say, oh, this is what I want my niche to be in this kind of situation? I don't know if you understand.
Okay, so if I understand you very well, you are a developer,
Yes.
and then you do a lot of general gigs, right?
Yes.
Okay, so your question is how do you start niching?
Yes.
Okay, I think
Sorry, I joined late, so I don't know if you've passed that.
okay, yes, actually, but I'll go over it again. Thank you for that question. Okay, so I started with identifying what you are passionate about first. So in all of these general gigs that you do, there was a time when, sorry to just, I'm still answering your question, but I just want to tell this story. There was a time when I attempted learning UI UX design. Then I didn't understand too much about niching. So I wanted to just be all the kinds of designers so that anywhere the job is coming from, I'm properly positioned. At the same time, I want to be a freelancer. At the same time, I want to work for a company full time. So I was just everywhere, sha. So the person teaching me UI UX, he said something. We okay during the training we analyzed a couple of profiles, and then we're seeing a couple of profiles on Behance and the Dribble. So we saw some designers who advertise themselves as UI UX designer for Web3. And then we saw some designers who advertise themselves as just UI UX designers, and they have a couple lot of things on their portfolios. They have Web3, they have for the medical field, they have for law firms. So when we analyzed both profiles, we saw that the people who had so much, like the people who were saying they were doing so much, their profile looked very disorganized and confusing. While the Web3 persons or the other persons that were specialists, they look so organized that I said to myself that okay, if I really wanted to hire, I'll be hiring this. If I need, for example, somebody to build a Web3 something for me, probably when I go to the generalist portfolio, before I will even see that your Web3 projects that you have handled, I would have scanned through a lot of pet projects, a lot of medical projects, a lot of law firm projects that you have done before I now say, okay, fine, he has handled Web3. So I won't have that time to scan through your profile. So even if you were applying to an industry, they will still want to hire you as a professional. So what you need to do first of all is to identify, okay, what am I passionate about? Because at the long run, you discover that you won't be as successful as you want to be being a generalist. And there's this popular quote that I don't know who said it, but then the person said that life is too short. I don't know. Can we hear me? Am I still audible?
Yes.
The person said life is short. One cannot learn everything in this short span of time. So pick up something which suits you the best and specialize yourself in it. And there's this quote that I know that a lot of us know. It says a jack of all trades is a master of none. So you can be very honest with yourself that of all the front end gigs that you have been handling, you know that you are still not at your best at all of them. But if there is one that you have, if there is one that you know that okay, fine, I'm very good at, or this is the one that you tilt to most when you are handling, then it could be a pointer that okay, fine, this is something that you should major in. So you now start dedicating time to develop that particular one. And while you are doing that, you cannot just jump and say, okay, you don't want to take any job again apart from that one. You just start slowly. You start reducing the number of gigs that you take so you can have more time to build yourself in this one that you are passionate about and then you are skilled about as well. You start building it more so you can become a professional at that. Because when you I said this I've been saying this a couple of times now. People want to hire professionals, and then we analyze that at the beginning of this training. When you check the meaning of the word professional in the dictionary, you see that it is somebody that is specialized in something. That's why somebody will say, okay, fine, what's your profession? Electrical engineering. When they ask you what's your profession, you say engineering. The person will want to know, okay, what kind of engineer are you? Is it an electrical engineer, an electronics engineer, a mechanical engineer, a petroleum engineer? It's crazy to bring a petroleum engineer to do something that an electrical engineer wants to do. And then the petroleum engineer that is saying that he or she is everything. It feels as if that person is numb. It's just only in this design field that everybody wants to pack everything and join everything together. But so far, it's not been working, and it works. Though. It works for a couple of persons. But what works best, according to statistics, is when you are able to specialize. So find your passion, and you have to be skilled in that area that you are calling your passion. Then you have to identify the market. I'm just trying to recap again. You have to identify the market that is in need of that, what problems can this particular skill set solve? That's what's going to make you unique. In business, they call it your USP, your unique selling point. That's what's going to make you unique. Then create projects around that and start putting yourself out there. Put your bio out there as who you want people to see you as. It's going to take time, but at the long run, it's going to work for you. Except you want to be that kind of a father or a mother that wants to hire somebody, maybe you want to hire an optician that can do dentistry, or you prefer to just hire a dentist to solve the problem of toothache. So that's my answer to that question.
Thank you.
Okay, Sunday, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello? Yes, can
Yes,
you hear
go
me?
ahead. I'm with you, sir.
Okay, yeah. Now, my question is, for, so, and then maybe you, but maybe you have been getting,
Your
as
network
an
is
example.
breaking, Sunday. Can you come again, please?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Ye- I can hear you.
Okay, okay. I said, okay. I said for someone that's a generalist, trying to make now, and this person I'm talking about, maybe the person have been admin, lot of project, but the that the person wants to make them is not getting gigs on it or project on it. So my question is, and then you are not getting project on that particular area that you like or you are passionate about. You are going to focus on it, even though you don't apply it on it, and start maybe working on fictional project on it. And that's the first question.
Okay, can
Is
you
it
type?
that
Can you
you are going
try to type your question? I can't. I'm not
okay,
following because if you can type your question, that would be better, please.
Okay. So David's question said, or it says, for someone who is a generalist and wants to niche down in a particular niche he or she is passionate about, but not getting gigs in that niche, or usually get gigs very well on other niches. That's not what he or she is passionate. Okay, that's not what he or she is passionate about. What can he or she do to resolve or correct that? Okay, part of your niche not being carved in stone is that when we said passion, it doesn't mean that your niche has to be something that you must be very passionate about it. I would say that okay, fine, your skill supersedes what you are passionate about. That's why you have to test. So when you find something you're passionate about and you have tested and you are seeing that okay, there's really no market for this thing, you can't force the market to come. So you have to find something that you are skilled at and there is a market for it. I don't know if you understand. So if so long as he's not that person is not being a generalist still in that sense, there's something that you're very focused on. You have positioned yourself that this is what I want to do and this is what I am good at, and you are getting a lot of gigs within that particular niche, then that's already you're a specialist doing that already. You're a specialist in that particular field. So you're most of the time in life we don't get to do everything that we are most passionate about. We don't get to do what we're most passionate about because I don't know the best way to say it, but it usually doesn't work that way all the time. Sometimes it works, most of the time it works, but some other time it doesn't work. Probably because what you love so much, it's not selling. But then you still have the advantage that something that you are very, it's possible that what the other thing that you claim to love so much, you are not even as good in it as the one that's giving you a lot of gigs. So you have to be able to choose and say, okay, this one is paying me very well because I'm getting a lot of gigs from here, and this is how I am positioning myself. You'll be able to train your mind to actually love that thing. Love is just a feeling, and we can program ourselves to love something. At the same time, we can program ourselves to hate things. So you can you can compel your passion to align with that particular skill set that is giving you a lot of gigs, and you can decide to stay there. The only thing is that if you're not able to convince yourself to be passionate about it, you find out that over time, when the gigs, because when, especially if you're a freelancer, it goes high, low, high, because you don't have a fixed income. Some months you may have a fixed income, but some other months it may pay you less, it may pay you more. So when it gets to those months where it's paying you more, you feel like, let's say this gig not dey work again. Okay, let me dive into something else. But you don't know that that particular low period is when you where you can sit back, check your strategies, check your skill set, and then build. Where you're not getting a lot of jobs, you are training. So when the time comes, you are getting a lot of jobs. You have enough skill set to be able to deliver on time. So that's what I have to say concerning that question.
Um, can I add a little bit to it?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I think that that question that David asked is something that a lot of people are currently facing, right? They niche in this something that we are passionate about, but then it's not bringing in money. You understand? And we all know that passion does not pay the bills. Yeah, but at the same time, the reason why you have to start with passion is because that's how you are able to narrow down this niche. Like you really need to start from what you are passionate about, right? And then if you now
Yeah.
realize that, okay, you are passionate about this thing, you have niched into it, maybe there is not a market for it. That doesn't mean that is the end of it. And there is something else that is, bringing money for you. All you need to do is, just refine the passion if need be. Just do a little bit of tweaking. We designers, we talk about iterating, iterating, iterating. Just iterate your passion. Yeah. Then the one that brings stuff for you, reposition yourself in there and let it continue to bring you more. You never can tell. Maybe you didn't even know that that's even your passion. Maybe you just thought something else is your passion. But if you're very sure that the other one is your passion, still, you still have to make money. You have to pay bills, right? So you can just continue to reposition yourself in that particular one that brings you money. And then if you know that by all means you want to pursue this passion, then you can continue to refine it continuously until you start seeing results. Right? You have to just keep tweaking. In design, no design is ever complete, right? You have to keep tweaking and tweaking until you have that final touch that you want to present to your client. That's just the way I see it. Okay, so I feel like um the passion might just need a little bit of tweaking and iteration for it to get you to where you want to be. Just like the way Emilson niched from, he niched from graphics designer, he niched down to t-shirts. Now, fine, he might be passionate about t-shirt design, but he had to niche down again to a particular audience and those audience now are the ones paying the bills. So maybe we just need a little bit of tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, or iterating in order to make that niche bring the money. But that doesn't mean you need to throw away every other thing, right? If the other ones are still bringing the money, please, the money is important. Let them work for the money, but then you continue to refine until you get grab the markets that you want through your passion. I want to believe that I've not said rubbish. Okay.
Yes, of course. Sorry, can I add something as well?
Yeah.
You just when as you were talking, you just brought my attention to something else. So you also need you or that person, you need to be very sure that you have actually done the market research very well, right? Because now that she's talking about refining, before you can refine, it simply means that you are doing another market research again to be sure, okay, fine. Well, because if you're able to bring your passion before problems that people are facing, trust me, there's a lot of market. If you study Sell by Crazy, like Sabri Subi, he'll tell you that the market that people are going for is just 20% of the entire market in any field. That's the market that most people are going for. the 80% of the market are those people that don't even, they're not even conscious. It's just somewhere in their head that they have this problem, but they're not conscious of the solution. They're not conscious that, okay, fine, there might be a solution. So when you get in front of those people and then you're able to make them know that, okay, fine, there's this problem. And because I believe that when I started niching, there were people don't, you when you ask a Christian, they won't necessarily tell you that, I prefer to work with a Christian. They won't tell you that. They won't tell you, like, if I prefer to work with somebody with a general belief system, they won't necessarily tell you that. But positioning yourself before them, they now think about them like, okay, it will make sense to work with somebody that we are on the same belief level. It will make sense. So they now start. So that market may not be existing, and you may just be the first person to step in if you do your market research very well. So that's it. That's it, Lizzie.
Thank you. Any other question from anybody?
But David, did we answer your? Okay, I can see you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Faith, any question?
So
Olani, Olani.
I have a question.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, please.
Okay, so my question is this: me, I like the idea of niching down to a particular demography. Yeah, yeah. But then again, my problem is this. My fear, not the problem. My fear is this: what is the frequency of jobs you will see you will get when you niche down? Because say like what's his name? He niched down to our speaker, our facilitator, he niched down to designing t-shirts for Christians, Christian brothers or Christian sisters, the case may be. How many Christian brothers t-shirts will you design in a month that will be able to pay rent and be able to buy food and be able to, you understand that kind of thing? How many, the frequency of the job is something that I'm really, really scared about when it comes to niching. Although I'm a product designer, yeah, I'm product designers. We do basically UI UX design, UI user interfaces and all the rest here. And I'm thinking of niching down to designing strictly websites, basically. Well, because I see that most designers do not like the complexities of websites. So I like going for the difficult things because I know people will not want to give it a try or people will either run away from it. But I now began to I began to think about this and I'm like, oh more, you have more customers coming for more clients coming for websites than for applications. But then again, there's money in applications. There's also money in websites. There's money in web applications too. So now my biggest fear is when you niche down, what will be the frequency of clients or jobs you will see in a month, or if you can share your own experience of how you'll be getting jobs, on how much you're getting jobs in a month or in 3 months. I don't know. That's my
Okay, thank you very much. I was actually expecting a question like this. I was looking forward to somebody somebody that will ask a question because this is very practical, right? So thank you very much for asking. Okay, first of all, before I answer your question, faith, right? Faith ego.
yes,
You're the one
bro.
that asked the question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what's your idea of an ideal number of job for a month that can pay the bills
For a month, okay, I think first of all, it's dependent on my
on the
value
amount,
pricing. Yeah,
on the pricing, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So let's give you a rough estimate. Say per job, per gig. Yeah, let's say like 600.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, 600. Yeah.
600
So
a month.
for the 600, no, 600 per gig.
That's 600 USD
600,000.
or
No, six
600.
hundred thousand naira per gig.
Okay.
Okay, per gig. So it's talking about how
Yeah.
many now, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, let him continue. I think he's trying to make a point. So go ahead.
Okay.
So
So like
600 per
six
gig.
hundred k per gig. So
Yeah.
let's say like 2 gigs in a month will be fine.
So that's
2 gig, that's like 1.2 m in a
1.2
month.
M in a
That'll be
month.
fine.
All right.
or 3 gigs.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. So just because you asked, when I believe you didn't join in the beginning. So when Lizzie was reading out, those normal things that you do when they want to announce a speaker, she was saying, okay, this person has done. She said about 162 jobs in a year. That's what I've done. Right. So I won't say that for every month I get. If you when you divide that, you see that on an average I get up to 12 jobs in a year. But the minimum number of jobs I've gotten in a year is not less than 8. I've gotten in a month. Sorry, it's not less than 8. So basically every month it ranges from 8 to 15, 8 to 10, 8 to 15 jobs. And it will shock you that I've been on Fiverr for like I was on Fiverr 2 years before I started getting gigs. And then when I was on Fiverr, I was first a generalist. I said, okay, fine, I do logo design. And you see that when you get on Fiverr and you put yourself and say, okay, fine, I'm a logo designer, you are just in the pool and you're just swimming like every other fish. You are just there. You are just swimming. So you're not you people are not necessarily noticing you because there are a lot of logo designers. So who exactly are you? What makes you unique? Who are you speaking to? This is what niche is. So first of all, let's not look at it like okay, it's one kind of limiting thing. It is a proven marketing strategy. So me understanding who I am, who do I want to speak to? So I decided to say, okay, fine, let me choose a different niche within the graphic design industry and then speak to a particular category of audience. I did that in a month. Like I did all that strategy and position myself in a month. And that was the month that I got my first job ever. And that month I got not more than 5 jobs at first. The next month, I started getting 10 to 12 jobs, 10 to 12 jobs. That has been for like 3 years now. There's some months that I get 8, like I said. But majority of it, 10 to 12, 10 to 12. Sometimes I'm sinking in orders that I don't even have time. It's not like that's something I'm proud of, but I'm just trying to let you know that I was on Fiverr for 2 years. Lizzie, are you saying something?
No, I am not.
Okay. Faith, are you with me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm
Okay.
listening.
I was on Fiverr for 2 years. As a generalist, I didn't get anything. Let's say now I was on Fiverr for just 1 month and I started getting a lot. And you know these things, it just takes one good review for you to start excelling. More good reviews, more good reviews, more good reviews, more good reviews, and before you know it, you are topping the game. If you type my gig on Fiverr right now, you will see that I am appearing as the number one on the platform with a Fiverr stress badge. How did I get there? Niching. I did not pay Fiverr any dime. I don't even the CEO of Fiverr. I don't even know him. He doesn't know me. I'm just within a particular subcategory in my niche, and I'm putting on a badge that gets the client to keep coming. How did I get there? It was through the same niching, narrowing down, narrowing. At first, when I even niche into t-shirt design, I didn't prepare my bio or anything. But when I discovered that okay, fine, this thing is working, let me position my bio. 70% of my clients have messaged me simply because of that description of me speaking directly to them. So I just see somebody on my in my DM and the person is replying to my bio like it was a chat to them. That's what niching can do to you. And if you check, it's still the same strategy that most companies are using and they're making. If you decide to be a generalist, it doesn't mean that you are bad or anything, but you have just chosen a side. That's just it. And if you check what you are saying, you sound scared. That's the thing. That's what differentiates a specialist from a generalist. A generalist is a generalist because he is scared. A specialist is a specialist because he is confident that this is what he or she wants to do. That's one of the key difference between a generalist and a specialist. So you're a generalist because you feel like, okay, if I decide to stay here now, not feel they, I feel not they get job, my your day here, we be like, say, if job come here, take, if job come here, if job come here, take. That's how I'll be successful. But we use the phrase all the time, jack of all trade, master of none, jack of all trade, master of none. Think about it in this light. You know that if you give time to a particular skill set, the same time you are giving to all others, if you give time to that particular one and you hammer on it, you become so professional. Wole Soyinka today is known for a lot like is not known for a lot of things. Sorry, he's just known as a writer and he's a star. When you think about Wole Soyinka today, you feel like he's good in so many things. He's just the spotlight is on him, so you feel like this man is good at a lot of things. But what is he known for majorly? Like, okay, when you ask anybody, I know of course there are other things that will be in, but there was something that brought him to the limelight, and that's the same thing that is keeping him there. That if he loses that particular value, you won't have the same recognition that is having till today, and many others as well. So when you really, really think about it, you will excel at the long run as a specialist. But if you are focused more on the now, being a specialist is going to be very, very difficult. However, this training is not to start this webinar. We're not trying to say, hey, be a specialist, don't be a generalist. You have to make your choice. But we're trying to let you understand that being a specialist will favor you at the long run. For the purpose of safety, I'm not going to be calling these amounts, okay, fine, that I make in a month and all that. But on an average, I'll just tell you that I make nothing less than 2M 1.5 in a month, where I'm getting a very low amount of gig in terms of pricing. So that's to tell you that this is somebody that wasn't making anything at all on the platform. Okay, so that's what you have been waiting for because you know clap since. This is somebody that was making absolutely nothing on the platform, on anywhere, in fact. All of a sudden, trying to strategize, niche down, do a couple of these steps that I said, because you may not be able to get all the steps at once, but just first of all, position your mind to the aim of this webinar is for you to understand that this is the direction to go. And then you start moving in that. It doesn't mean that you wake up tomorrow morning and say, maybe if you're working for a couple of clients before, you just send them message, I quit, I quit, I quit. I didn't say that. What I'm trying to achieve, first of all, is a specialist kind of mindset. That's the mindset that will put you on that's like the foundation of everything that will put you on the level ground to start building yourself, carving out a niche for yourself, finding your passion, and then moving in slowly. It's going to take time, but you just have to understand that you are doing the right thing. That's the in thing. Just understand that, okay, fine, I want to head into the right direction now. Not like you are saying, let me just put one leg and try it. All this thing where they talk of this training and just stop. You put one leg, maybe like 1 month, and you see that the thing is not working, or you go back and say, beg, I've tried it before. It's not a matter of trying, it is the way to go. That's just the truth. It's the way to go. You have to be a specialist. I'll keep saying it. It's just really unfortunate that in this design tech field, everybody just wants to do everything. And I was caught up in that web, but I don't want to be in that web anymore. If graphic designers are going to be phasing out, then trust me, there's no profession too that will not phase out. Web designers too will phase out. They will all phase out. But if everybody is saying they're not going to phase out, then nobody's going to phase out. So I don't have to jump from a particular skill because I'm scared. That's the thing, because we are always scared. And that was what we're supposed to talk about, but we have hammered it already, so we don't have to hit that again. But I believe I've been able to touch your question a little at least. Faith. All right,
Yes,
Lizzie,
sir.
over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got everything you said, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that we also need to be in the testing, we also need to be consistent rather. You know, again, we are designers, and then when we create products for people, we say we like to test, right? And then why are we testing? We want to test to see how the product is doing, how the users are using it, what update do we need to do, and then we test, we gather feedback, we evaluate the feedback, we prioritize the feedback. We do a lot of things when after we have tested in order to know the kind of upgrade or update that we need to do. Yeah. The Facebook that we have now is as a result of testing, evaluating their feedback and updating. And I think that we ourselves, we are a product of ourselves. Yeah. So let's not remove ourselves and say, oh, I'm designing a product, I'm not a product. You're actually a product, I'm a product. So whatever it is that we are doing while we are testing, let's just be patient, right? Let's be patient with it. And again, don't forget to refine, don't forget to iterate. Okay, and then try again. That does not mean you need to dump every other thing you are doing and say, you don't do I must niche. Yeah, while the other one is working for you, focus on that other thing. Like, don't forget to also try and work on that niche so that yes, eventually have something that you are specialized. You never can tell in the long run. You might just later focus on your niche and don't have to worry about any other thing again. So that's just what I have to add. Um, did anybody hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Oh boy. Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, did you guys hear my episode?
Please, can you come?
Yes, we heard
Yes,
you very well.
Huh?
We heard you very well, and we could still.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am, we
we
heard
heard
you.
you.
We
We
heard
heard
you.
you.
yes, we heard
Again,
everything.
again, I did not hear my network was bad.
We heard everything. We heard everything.
Okay, so there I'm saying like let's be patient with the niching thing and try to test. And let's be patient with our testing. We're also products. The way we design products, we are also a product of ourselves. So we need to also evaluate whatever it is that we are testing. And not just copy it. So any other question before we move to final notes, final thoughts? Any other question? Okay, I believe there are no more questions. So Emilson, final notes.
All right. Thank you. So for final thoughts, no need to say so much again. Your perfect niche is where your skill, your passion, and market needs intersect, right? So your skill, and then the particular area that you are passionate about, that you have iterated on. Okay.
Please, can
And
you
then
guys
it's
hear me?
meeting the needs. Sorry?
I was saying we should meet our mic.
Okay. So when you focus on a specific area, you not only stand out, but also attract clients who value your expertise. And again, remember, there was something I wanted to leave that in our subconscious FOMO, just like what Faith was asking, the fear of missing out. So always remember this whenever you think of niching and you're trying to work on your niche and the fear is coming. Just remember that when you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to no one. Then your niche is going to give you clarity, a defined audience, and better, higher paying opportunities. All right, so those are the final thoughts for today's training from my end. So also remember the halo effect, right? Remember that when you position yourself and you are very good at something, people will generally just have that perception that you are good at other things. So if you're a very good graphic designer, depending on the niche, people will just assume that okay, he can design album too, he can design this too, he can design that too. And then those gigs may not be on your portfolio because you are advertising yourself as a professional in a particular niche, but you are making a lot of money internally, right? So just very last, sorry, it's just coming to my consciousness. I believe as designers, we all know Chris Do. So Chris Do said something. He was like, you should be a generalist internally, and then be a specialist externally. So that's what I just said. So when you are getting a couple of other gigs, you are handling them, you are making a whole lot of money, but outside you are well positioned to be able to receive a lot of high paying gigs as a specialist. So that's you being a generalist internally, but externally you are known as a specialist. So those are my final words for us. Thank you so much, Lizzie, and everyone.
Thank you, Emilson. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience and expertise with us. We are really grateful. Thank you everyone for joining. I think we have learned a lot in this in today's session. All right. Um, let's just try these things out. Let's not just leave this place and say Emilson has said this, so let's try it out and see how it works. Because we also did that practical at the beginning, like who will you employ, teacher one or teacher two? And you see everybody is saying teacher one because people now they want to look at um this person specialize in this thing. Let me just bring this person on board. You know, I remember when I started with LinkedIn at then back then. I think I've just gotten my first UI UX job. And because I was really knowledgeable about the UI UX, I did a lot of tutorials and stuffs on service design on this and that. So I put everything on my LinkedIn as service designer, UI UX designer, product designer, kineko designer, I put everything. Social media, I used to do because before I transitioned into UI UX, I used to do social media designs. I put everything on my LinkedIn, and then one of my senior colleague back then, she called my attention. I was like, you don't have to put all of this thing. Just put what you are like specialized in on your LinkedIn profile so that somebody that is looking for that specialty will be able to find you. Because if they see so many things, service design, this design, everything on your LinkedIn profile, they will not really like look at you that much because it'll be like this one does not really know their part, or they'll go and look for somebody else that is sure about what they are doing. So that's another way to look at it. The way you present yourself is also very important. You get. So I think we've learned something. I have learned something, and let's go back home and try and look at these skill sets, these skills that we have, and see how we can properly niche ourselves to some particular audience. You don't need to write off your other profile, what you currently have right now, because if that's what is feeding you, but in order to for long term standing, you get you need to start working on this niching thing gradually. And especially I know a lot of people here wants to freelance, a lot of people wants to have side gigs that they can do with their 9 to 5 and all of those things. Maybe if you start thinking about niching to certain people, the side gigs can begin to come. Eventually you might realize that you might just need to focus on it and leave the 9 to 5. You never can tell. Okay, so time heals, time tells. So let's just put this thing into test and try it out. And I believe it's going to work out for every one of us. So thank you again for joining. I'm going to be putting the recorded um this recording in the group. So if you are still on the group, please you might want to stay a little bit longer, and then let me find time to put the recording together and then share with us, so that in case you want to go back to watch it or you want to share with other people to watch as well, so that you can have access to it. So I think this is where we are going to draw the curtain. Thank you so much. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Emilson. Thank you so much. Thank you, Faith, David, Darren, Aye, Johnny Ojo. I see you. Olanipekun. Who else is there? I think that's everybody. Yeah, if I didn't mention your name, that means I did not see it. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for even, coming back to this second link again. I believe everybody wants to learn, and that's why we are here. So let's put these things into practice, and everything's going to work out for us. I know every one of us, we are all currently doing well now. Respect whatever it is we are doing, we are currently doing well, but we are not satisfied. We need to do more. We need to make more money. We need to solve more problems. We need to be better at what we do, and that's why we keep learning. So let's put all these things into practice, test them out, and see how it works for you. So if you want to submit the assignments again, you can always send it to the group chat, to the community, and then you can always get feedback on them. We'll share it with Elmison. You can annotate on them, give feedback on them, and then we'll send it back to you. All right. Elmison, is that fine?
Yes, yes, that's okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So see you
Sorry,
after.
ma.
Okay.
Please also share the. Ma, can we please also share the assignment on the WhatsApp if that's fine?
Okay.
So
Emilson,
get
can
it.
you help us with that slide? Like, can you give us a screenshot of that slide and send to the group? You can do it. Will you be able to do
Okay, I'll
it
do that.
after this session, Abby?
I'll do that now.
All right. So let me see. We'll drop it. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening. Merry Christmas in advance. Happy New Year in advance. See you guys in 2025. If you still want to hang in the community, there are tons of programs that will still be coming up. We're having a AI, is it a AI or an AI program next year January. I just need to finalize with the speaker. Is a like a specialist with AI. He did his master's degree in design and artificial intelligence in London or somewhere around there. So I'm going to bring it up next year, probably January or February, depending on his schedule. So you guys might want to hang in so that you don't miss out on that. So in case you want to still stay in the community, you're welcome. And for those that are already in the community, sorry that I don't engage you guys every day. It's not easy to go through life and engage
Ah,
you.
true. Nice.
Yes, so but pay at any time you have programs, webinars or trainings, I will always drop them in the community or in the group chat for us to come together. So have a good evening. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Bye. Bye bye everybody. Thank you, Emilson.